Yeah, I know.
They're just ridiculously good. And
On the
it's,
other hand, if they had managed to like win that game five, for example,
yeah,
um,
that would have been
you know,
fun.
I mean, yeah, it would have been a pretty big story, wouldn't it? And they would have. I would have almost backed them. They would have almost been my favourites, I think, to win the World Series if they'd beaten the Astros.
Yeah, it would
Maybe,
have been
maybe
fun.
slightly over the top, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
it would have been interesting.
Yeah. Which probably let's mention before we actually go out and look ahead to the Championship Series. Let's quickly talk about the National League ones because we've just been talking about the American League side of it. Actually, we did talk about the Dodgers a bit, actually, didn't we?
Yeah.
Briefly, but
Um, the Nationals just the starting pitchers and basically not using anyone
yeah,
else, which is quite interesting. That talk about bullpen management, has ended up working out really nicely for them.
yeah. Despite not having a bullpen,
Yeah, by
um,
creating one.
yeah, and the thing is with that though is that there's a a bit of a difference with a 7 game series if it manages to go that far, um, compared to the 5 game series. I think with that, I don't know. I suppose we'll see if that. But like
Yeah,
I don't know whether they're going to keep using Scherzer out of the bullpen. Do we know that? We probably know that by now. Actually,
I haven't seen.
um,
It
he's
wasn't
due
an
to
issue
start tonight.
yesterday. It wasn't an issue yesterday because of Anibal Sanchez. I mean
Yeah, I
that
think he's
that
due.
was so big for them. If they get to the World Series or let alone win it, that could be the defining performance that
Yeah,
everyone forgets about, maybe because it was game one. But yeah, the no hitter going deep into the game, it meant that, like you said, they didn't have to make the decision about using any of the starters out of the bullpen. It
yeah.
gave everyone a rest, and they got a win with Scherzer up next. And I guess is it then going to be Strasburg, and
Uh,
then Corbin? Like how that sets them up is incredible.
yeah, it doesn't say yet on the MLB website. It doesn't have
Okay, well,
their
you'd
after
assume it.
Scherzer. It doesn't have who they've got. I guess they are just being flexible, though, aren't they? If
Yeah,
Scherzer has to come out early, for example, and they've got like a small lead, they may well go to Strasbourg or something.
yeah.
But then if they don't need to use Strasbourg, then he'll start the next game. But
So
if
it,
they do need their starting pitchers to perform now, they don't they? I think
oh
if
yeah,
one
definitely.
of those, I mean, I'd be very surprised if Scherzer has like a bad game. But I mean, imagine well, Wainwright actually is coming off a really good start, isn't he?
Yeah,
If he if he does that again, and Scherzer gives up like 3 runs and has like a high pitch count after like 6 innings, and they have to take him out, then it's like I don't know if you want to use up Strasbourg and what's looking like could be a loss. So then maybe that's
no,
when they
I
go
don't
to
think you do.
no, they shouldn't. But that's like even with Scherzer giving you 6 innings, 3 runs, you feel like they then have you know, are very unlikely to win it because of how shaky their bullpen is.
Yeah, on the talk of starting pitcher usage, that was another thing that I don't know if it's questionable, but it's a debatable decision anyway. With Flaherty, after they got that massive, massive first inning lead in
Yeah,
Game Five, that they then pitched him, which obviously pushed his next start back.
yeah, he's now due to do game 3, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, that seemed unnecessary, didn't it? Although I guess it was just they think they had him down and he'd already warmed up and stuff. I guess but
there's also the other side of it is what if they come back and you've taken him out after 15 pitches? Like your career as a
yeah,
manager is over. I imagine that might have been part of the thought process, as negative as it may sound.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Although I mean, I just like the logistics of it as well. Though I think is that for when pitchers are starting, they need to warm up for a long time, don't they?
Yeah,
So they
yeah,
wouldn't be able to get anyone ready to do a big bulk of innings at such short notice. So then it's effectively you're using up almost all of your bullpen probably. So it's like you either, use up Flaherty, or you use up. Well, I guess relievers it doesn't matter so much because it's the final game of the series and there's a bit of a rest. But you're using all of your relievers and putting more pitchers in their arms, or you're just using one pitcher. Well, it's not just one, obviously, because you do expect to go to the bullpen a bit, but it's potentially like 4 pitches or something that you'd have to use for the amount that he would do.
The other thing in that series was Mike Soroka only pitched once in a 5-game series, and Keuchel and Foltynewicz both pitched twice.
What's that about?
Foltynewicz was actually really good in his first one, and then completely ruined everything in his second start.
Yeah.
I mean, that's comically bad, isn't it?
I think Foltynewicz is one of those, isn't he? Get the feeling of him, he's one of those starters that he's either like untouchable, throwing like high 90s fastballs and stuff, and he's just completely dominant, or he just has a nightmare. Like we've seen, haven't we, when we watched a game, maybe
when he was really
it
clearly tipping pitches.
Yeah, and we could tell watching that he was like really obviously tipping, whether it was like a fastball or a change-up, and that was pretty much all he was throwing. Fastballs and change-ups, and you could tell very, very clearly, even from TV, which one it was.
Yeah, so in his regular season starts this year, there were 4 where he gave up 5, 5, 8, and 8, and then there were 11 where he gave up 2 or fewer. So that does basically fit with that. There were a few times when he was absolutely terrible. And a lot of times it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, like
not a great deal in
you're
between.
Expecting like a 4 ERA, but it sounds like, he very rarely gave up runs at that rate for a game. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He didn't give you a consistent, just a solid, consistent start like ever. It was just either dominant or he loses you the game.
Yeah, those pitches are sort of not that useful in a way.
No.
Because that can end up being quite a lot of games that you're just out of altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another thing I just thought was worth touching on, because that was a strange quirk. And not for a team that had a wildcard game either.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
I mean, wasn't Fried coming out the bullpen as well all the time when he was...
Yeah. I guess there might have been some innings concerns. That might have been it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can make...
Yeah, I guess that's the thing with the Braves, isn't it, as well, is that even with the postseason, I mean, maybe even with Soroka only pitching once, is that they're still looking to the future. Unlike what the Phillies have done coming out of their rebuild, the Braves are all about they're keeping hold of all their valuable young players, and they're just looking to slowly improve and bring that group forward. So I guess to them it does. Even though it's a bit disappointing for Braves fans and stuff, and maybe less than what we were expecting, it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, it's like, everyone expects them now they're going to be like far and away the favourites for their division again next year, and probably the year after that, and the year after that, unless,
Yeah, I mean, there are a few things in that division that could change it very drastically this off-season. You don't know what the Mets are going to do. Like, the Syndergaard trade stuff's going to come up again, isn't it? Because it comes up every few weeks. JT Realmuto is going into a contract year, am I right? I think he's a free agent at the end of next season.
Yeah.
Which is obviously massive. Like, are they going to pay him the bag? I think they probably will. But that's sort of part of the game.
Yeah, they're sort of all in on that strategy now, aren't they, the Phillies?
Yeah, and Anthony Rendon's free agency. Does he stay in Washington, or does he go? Because if you take him out of the Nationals lineup,
yeah, the Nationals aren't that close, are they, to them?
Everything changes quite drastically. Or who knows? Maybe they sign Anthony Rendon. That would be the real turn up.
Yeah, because Josh Johnson's a free agent, actually, isn't he?
Yeah, they don't seem that keen on spending like that, so it's more likely he goes to the Phillies, probably.
Yeah.
Although not very likely.
I could see that happening, but hope not.
Back into the shadow of Bryce Harper.
Yeah. Yeah, and it basically that series ended with, well, as we said, the Braves pitching absolutely collapsing, didn't it?
The meltdown of all meltdowns. That I was about to turn that game on. I was like, it's just started. I won't miss much in first
Yeah,
inning.
I did as well actually. I turned it on. I think when I turned it on, it was 6-0 with one out, and the one out was a bunt.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked at my phone to check the scores. Oh, I'll have a look at that. It's about to be on a minute. I've watched so many innings where there's been like nothing's happened at all, and it's just been complete shutdown. Like, I'll miss an inning, it won't matter too much. And the one inning I missed,
I just got my LBTV stream straight on. Didn't even look ahead. I was like, oh, it's only just started. It's only been on for like 10 minutes. This is going to be at least watchable for a bit, and immediately it's over.
Yeah, not great. Not great, to be honest.
I guess that when you're saying that those inconsistent starting pitches aren't that useful, I guess that's the perfect example of it, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Well, there doesn't really.
He was good in his first start.
Can't have a stronger example than that, can you?
But it doesn't really matter if he loses any postseason game, let alone an elimination game.
If you put him in,
doesn't give your lineup a chance.
Yeah, if you put him in that series, basically. In his good start, his win probability added, for instance, won't be anywhere near 1, will it?
No, because that.
But whereas in that game the other day, it was basically like that was a loss. There was literally as most a loss that a starting pitcher can ever be given. That was literally he lost the game.
Yeah.
He must feel awful. I mean, it's just horrendous, and not good for the series either. To be honest, it's been a pretty entertaining series up until then.
Yeah, I know. I don't know whether he'll have as much of a role next year. To be honest, I don't think he should do.
Anderson's coming through, isn't he?
Sorry?
Anderson's likely to come up.
Yeah, maybe next year.
That reminds me, we need to do some stuff with our fantasy team, by the way.
Oh right, yeah, okay, yeah. We'll talk about that in a bit, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do it after the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we've sort of already started moving on to the championship series. There's sort of all the structure is just gone of this.
Well, I guess it's because they are so interlinked. Because so much of postseason baseball now and the way that people use their pitches has been the main story. I think this postseason.
Yeah,
they are very much the same animal.
Yeah. So, what do you reckon is going to be the outcome?
What are we going for predictions?
Yeah, let's do some random predictions now. I can't remember when in the podcast we usually do them. Maybe we should get some sort of format for these podcasts at some point.
Yeah, that might help. I think we've got an advantage on the National League one. I would be amazed if the Nationals don't win now.
I'm going to say the Cardinals.
What? Because of a good Wainwright start tonight or something spins it.
Well, maybe the Nationals even win this one. But yeah, I think if the Nationals lose this, the Cardinals have got a big advantage.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Because they then, Scherzer, they can't keep bringing Scherzer out the bullpen and stuff. Even if they win this, then the next one, which either you have to use Strasburg in this one, in which case no Strasburg starting for the next few games, or they don't, and then Strasburg has to start, and then they're relying on another gem from Strasburg, or I suppose just the offense isn't going to destroy them because it's Flaherty, the next one. But so at some point, basically, one of their starting pitchers isn't going to pitch a gem. And then they're going to have to either go to their shaky bullpen and it's a loss, probably, or they have to use another one of their starters out the bullpen, which then means the next game, they don't have a starting pitcher for, pretty much.
Almost, I think the best thing that can happen for Davey Martinez is that if they're losing a game,